Go to school past the age of 14. Jewish people are not allowed to ride in automobiles. Jewish people must have their hair cut a certain way. Jewish people must adopt the middle name Israel or Sarah. Jewish people must wear a yellow star identifying that they are Jewish at all times. Jewish people are not allowed professions of influence such as law, education. Jewish people must sign over their property and businesses to the hands of the Nazi Party. They're not allowed to put it into the hands of non-Jews for safekeeping, and so on and so on. Now, keeping in with the idea that this memorial is a bar chart of persecution, at the next year you would have November the 9th, 1938, Kristallnacht, or the Night of the Broken Glass. From this date, being Jewish in itself was enough of a crime to get you thrown into a concentration camp. On that one night, 30,000 Jewish men across Germany were sent to concentration camps. At least 91 Jewish men were murdered, and 84 of Berlin's 90 synagogues were burnt to the ground. And then at the top tier, we would have the 20th of January 1942, the Wannsee Conference, where the final solution to the European Jewish question was decided upon and put into fast forward. That was the Nazis' decision to murder the 11 million Jews they estimated were still here in Europe. So in saying that, another interpretation for this design, perhaps these are the train carriages arriving at death camps, for example, Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland, where 1.1 million people lost their lives. The point is that whatever it is that you see here, whatever it is that this means to you, that is what it is meant to mean. Just think about it, and by thinking about it, you will think about the murdered Jews of Europe. Now, it's also controversial because of where it is. Nothing to do with the murdered Jews ever took place on this site. In fact, in World War II, this was a garden. Now, there are a lot of sites around here which are more relevant to
This area here is a memorial for the murdered Jews, and it's actually illegal to say that the Holocaust didn't happen. You get 5.5 years in prison if you say that. I'm actually in the middle of the memorial for the murdered Jews. The funny thing happened today is I'm in Berlin, Germany, and I ran into someone that was actually an apostle at Amsterdam, and we're on the same tour here right now.
So this building right in the back of the square here, this is the Französische Dom, or the French Cathedral. So why do we have a French cathedral in the middle of Berlin? It actually goes back to the 1680s. Louis XIV of France, staunchly Catholic man, decided he did not want Protestants in his country anymore. He kicked them all out. They were displaced around the world because of humans. Now here in Berlin, at the same time, the population had dropped to less than 20,000 from wars and plagues. So to boost the population back up, to inject some new life into the city, 5,000 of the displaced French Huguenots were invited here to Berlin. Party, August Bebel, but Bebelplatz has had a lot of names in history, including at one stage it was called Opernplatz, or Opera Square, and that has to do with this building behind me under construction here. This is the Staatsoper, or the State Opera House, went up in 1743, designed by a man called Graf Georg Wenceslaus von Knobelsdorff. There you go. Now this building is remarkable for a few reasons. Firstly, this is the world's first freestanding opera house, the first one to be built outside of palace grounds, so everybody could enjoy opera, not just those privileged few. But it's also remarkable because it was bombed in the Second World War and flattened twice. Wow. First, it was bombed by the British in 1941, but Hitler was a great lover of the opera, didn't want to wait for the highly destructive Second World War to finish to get his opera house back, so he rebuilt it in 1943. Which sure showed him, because in 1945 the Americans came along and bombed it again. Now it was rebuilt by the East German government in 1955, but as you can see they didn't do a very good job. Now this has been closed and under construction again for the last 2 years or so, and it's probably got another 2 years to go. If you do come back to Berlin in the future and this is open, I would highly recommend you go if you can get tickets. It is one of the best and cheapest opera houses in the entire world, but at the moment it is being rebuilt.
I have to back up because this place is so big. Can't even get it in the frame. I'm really far back from it too.
Full of museums. I'm going to talk to you about some of the buildings that you can see here, but I'm going to start with one of the buildings that is not on the island. It was meant to say we're technologically advanced, we can do everything you can do. So they kept it pretty quiet, so they had to get sweet. Now this building was built because Germany's final Kaiser, Kaiser Wilhelm II, was, for want of a better word, a bit of a twit. He was very aggressive, very ambitious. He was looking around Europe and he said, you know what, everyone's got these great cathedrals. There's St. Peter's, there's St. Paul's, I want one. He said, I want my one to have the biggest dome. I want it to have statues, I want it to have gold, I want it to have murals, I want it to have everything. Now the Berliners, they're a bit of a cynical bunch, commonly refer to this building as the ugliest building in all of Berlin. Now I think that is a bit rough. I can definitely show you some uglier buildings if you want me to. But at any rate, it was very heavily damaged with firebombing in the Second World War. You can still see the smoke damage. Reconstruction only completed in 1999. For about €6 or €7, you can go up to the top, get some beautiful views up there, or you can go down to the Royal Crypt, where much of the royal family is buried. Now this building right here, this is another Karl Friedrich Schinkel design. He was a busy man. This is the Altes Museum, or the Old Museum, officially opened in 1830.